Welcome to our Machinima on guided tours and conceptual orienteering. Through this, we will be providing you with information on how to create a guided tour and showing a demonstration of one as well. Designing instruction within a 3D environment involves a traditional instructional design. You need objectives, design strategies, and a specific methodology to follow. However, it also involves the use of learning archetypes and strategies that go above and beyond the traditional instructional design considerations. This is what the learning archetypes are, and today we'll be focusing on guided tours and conceptual orienteering. There are two types of guided tours: facilitator, where someone is giving the guided tour, and self-led, where the users are going on the tour themselves. Also paired with that is conceptual orienteering, in which the concepts are being taught. Why use guided tours? Guided tours engage the learners in real context. Learners are able to move through environments that they would normally not have access to. Examples of this would be flying through a hurricane or riding a research weather balloon. It also allows the learners to interact with conceptual learning about a specific topic. In our case today, that would be learning about the research facility known as NOAA. Guided tours are also repeatable, so you will always be able to come back to them and brush up on your information that you might have missed out on or have forgotten over the time. Concept learning. Robert Gagne was an American educational psychologist, and he pioneered the science of instruction. Because of him, we recognize two types of concepts: concrete and defined. Concrete concepts are the ability to classify objects and events according to their distinguishing features. Example of this would be when asked to point to a cow, you do so correctly, or when asked to choose a large box, you do. There's also defined concepts, which is the ability to classify objects, events, or ideas according to definitions. An example of this would be to distinguish between examples of punishment and extinction. Paired with concepts are examples and non-examples, where learners are able to see connections between examples and non-examples to understand and reinforce the concepts being taught.
Hi everyone, my name is Drew, and I'm going to be our tour guide today on the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration Island referred to as NOAA. Before we take our tour, I'm going to talk a little bit about guided tours. Guided tours are great tools that will allow users the experience of visiting locations that they might not often have the opportunity to visit. For example, rather than going to Washington, D.C. to visit the Holocaust Museum, a class could log on to Second Life and go to the Holocaust Museum in Second Life, and in that case, they're going to save a lot of money and time. When starting a tour, you're going to want to make sure you have a central meeting location. That way, if any users get lost or need directions, they'll know where to go. I'm carrying a torch, so it'll be easy for my group members to identify who the leader is. So I'm going to step over here to the side, so this would be my location. And when people log on to the NOAA Island and teleport, they're going to end up right where you can see it looks like Sophia Clee is located at. So they'll know where we're meeting. And this would be a great place where if people were to get lost, they could come back so they can get a little bit of help. If you have the opportunities to have an assistant in your tour, maybe that person could stay here, and if anybody gets disconnected or gets lost, they could always head back to the central location and they can also get directions there. It's a wonderful idea to have a central meeting place so you can give a debriefing about the tour and give everyone an idea of what's actually going to be taking place during the tour. So I'm standing here next to the map of the island, and you can see there's a lot of exhibits. Now, we're not going to have the opportunity to visit all the exhibits today. We're actually going to visit just 4. Let's start with our first destination. We're going to check out the tsunami. Then we're going to head over to the hurricane ride exhibit, the glacier, and then last we're going to go to the sea life. Here we are at the tsunami exhibit. This exhibit is going to give users the experience of living through the tsunami. So when we actually start the exhibit, you see our houses behind us. These houses are going to be demolished due to the tsunami. Here we are at the hurricane tour. On this tour, users will actually board the plane, and the plane will take you over to a hurricane. It'll fly over the hurricane, and it will eventually dip a little bit into the hurricane. You'll get to see the formation of the clouds and the spinning, as well as seeing the eye of the storm. Here we are at our third exhibit, the glacier exhibit. This is my favorite one on the island. It gives you an idea of what's happening with the global warming and how our glaciers are melting. You can go through the different stages and you can see what would happen when the glaciers melt. You'll see the water rising. This is our last exhibit on this tour. This is the submarine ride. On the submarine ride, you'll actually board the submarine and it'll go underwater and it'll show you the life that exists under the water. You'll notice that we're back to where we started. It's always a good idea to end the tour where it started. That way the group can gather and ask questions or share their experiences or thoughts. Well, I hope you enjoyed our tour.
Hello, my name is Sarah Kelly and my goal is to show you how to enhance your guided tour in Second Life by experiencing exhibits firsthand. For our examples, we will continue to use the NOAA site to experience a tsunami and a plane ride through a hurricane. Previously, Drew showed you a guided tour and its benefits through the NOAA site. A guided tour is an excellent way to learn about facts in an exhibit. Additionally, a self-guided tour gives the learner an unlimited amount of time and space to explore a concept. The note card feature in Second Life gives interesting facts about an exhibit that the learner can read about while on a guided or self-guided tour. But what would it be like to actually experience a tsunami or a hurricane? Second Life allows the learner to actually take part in what these events would be like if experienced firsthand. This learning archetype is called Conceptual Orienteering, and it gives you the opportunity to experience examples and non-examples so your avatar can make comparisons and distinguish certain features of different events, especially ones you may never get to experience. So let's go and check it out. First, let's take a plane ride through a hurricane. If you right-click on the side, you board a weather plane and fly into the clouds and eventually in the eye of a hurricane. This simulation shows the learner the dangerous flight meteorologists make into hurricanes to obtain crucial data for forecasters to predict the path and destruction of these large natural disasters. As you can see, we are now heading into the hurricane. The tour ends when the plane lands. Now I'm going to show you what it is like to experience a tsunami. So let's fly to that location in NOAA. If we click on the sign and walk underwater, you are met with an undersea earthquake and the sound of a siren indicating a possible tsunami. Click a second time, you see the seawater starting to displace underneath the ocean. Click a third time, and the shoreline recesses back to the ocean. Click again, and here is where the concept of conceptual orienteering is experienced. A very large wave washes ashore, overcoming your avatar and everything in its path. Notice the homes and the beach chairs are gone. If you click once more, the water recedes back into the ocean. This experience shows the results of an underwater earthquake and a tsunami, and the warning signs it gives to millions who live along tsunami-prone regions. This machinima showed the Second Life site for NOAA and how the two learning archetypes, guided tours and conceptual orienteering, can be used to give the learner an enhanced experience with their avatars. Benefits of guided tours prevent hours of inefficient exploration and are arranged to meet specific learning needs. As stated earlier by Andrew, a self-guided tour should be completed if concepts need to be relearned or to take at one's own leisure as long as they have been given somewhat of a roadmap as to where they should go. The plane ride as well as the tsunami experience were examples of conceptual orienteering. While all of these examples are weather-related, the learner can visually see the differences in each experience and pinpoint specific attributes. Conceptual orienteering calls for examples and non-examples for side-by-side comparison. For example, the root cause of a tsunami stems from a deep sea earthquake, and a main ingredient that forms a hurricane is warm sea temperatures. Both are two totally different events, but are both affected by the ocean. We hope you enjoyed this machinima on guided tours and conceptual orienteering in Second